Your whole focus has been on power to the people, Aruna. And in that strive for social justice, and you speak about land and wages, yeah, being at one of the core issues that you've been sort of focusing on. And the milestones, I mean, there's so many which I'd like you to just, the RTI Act, MGNREGA, right? What actually brought about RTI? I mean, we're aware of it, some of us know, but there's a generation out there who doesn't know about the Right to Information Act, which demands transparency and accountability from the government, right, at every step. Would you like to just tell us that what inspired you? And there's a case around it, a case study, I mean, a story behind how the RTI actually then came into becoming an act.
Well, yes, there's a book called The RTI Story, which came out 3 or 4 years ago. If you're interested, you can read it for the details. Must be there in the bookshop. But what actually pushed me and my colleagues, many of them sitting in the audience, is again that logic. Again, the seeking of how do you get your rights. And we are Gandhians. In that sense, in India, if you say you're a Gandhian, it means that you do not believe in violent protest. That you use passive resistance, you use street protest, you use all other means of non-violent protest that we have. Satyagraha, what Gandhiji called Satyagraha. We believe in Ambedkar, we believe even in some aspects of Marx. But our methods are all Gandhian. We do not agree that you can fight your government with violence and still be alive to fight for the people. It's not possible. So in that mode of seeking how you can access your power, we really knew that those documents that were secret somehow held the key to our survival, key to our good health, key to my wages, key to my rights. And Mohanji, who was an illiterate bard who worked with us, a Dalit great poet, but not literate. He composed so many beautiful songs. And one song that he sang, he said in Rajasthani and Hindi, maybe you will understand, but I think, should I speak in English alone or should I use a few Hindi words?
You can, please.
उन्होंने कहा कि पुराने जो पहले वाले चोर जो थे बंदूक से मारते थे, आज के चोर तो कलम से मारते हैं राज चोरों का. So he said, the old system killed you with a gun. The new system kills you with a pen. We are ruled by criminals and by thieves. And this song was so powerful that it really reached out to everybody and people understood that that document is to come out. It began with the struggle for wages. We used to sit and ask for wages. And now it's 265 rupees a day, which is what we all earn as an honorarium. But in any case, at that time, it was 44 rupees a day, just barely enough for a family to survive. And government on its own works would say, you have not done your work, we won't pay you. Protest after protest after protest, hunger strike after hunger strike. We would achieve a little bit and go back 10 paces. So we decided those documents must come out, which prove that we worked, that we are entitled to a wage. And that's how the battle began. And from there, it grew into a huge campaign. The whole of India got involved because transparency and accountability are words people understand. And what Nikhil Shankar and I and many other colleagues of mine, Kavita, who were all there in the audience, did was actually transform that angst and that understanding into legalese, into formal language, into English, if you like, into government language, into bureaucratic language, what the media would buy, and the media joined us, and then later on, of course, it was an amazing campaign. It was a democratic campaign, and it was still today, it is still sometimes I get up and find myself awestruck that it actually happened. Yes.
I agree.
And the RTI was passed in 2005 by the Indian Parliament, and I think every one of us was just, we didn't rejoice, we didn't shout and scream, we just stood there in silence and said, it's actually happened. When I was in an advisory group with the government, sitting with the Prime Minister and with the head of the party,
the National Advisory
Council, they still did not pass the law easily because the bureaucrats did not want it. So we went on a huge strike. And I had asked permission, by the way, that was very important for me. When I joined this advisory body, I told the government that I will do 2 things and you can't stop me. One is protest on the street. And you can't say to me, you're an advisor of the government and you can't protest on the street. And the second thing is, I'll disagree with you publicly because I'm a Democrat. And you have to give me the right to disagree and dissent. And they gave it to me. So while I was asking for the law inside the room, I was sitting outside with 20 lakh signatures on old saris, on old dhotis, on anything white, old towels, in all the languages of India, from the Parliament House right up to whatever it is on the other side, 2 kilometers lined with these demands. So I think people want it, and if it's a democracy, and we got independence. We have lots of slogans which says we didn't want independence only from the British. We wanted independence from hunger. We wanted independence from ill health. We want freedom from ill health, freedom. We wanted this kind of freedom. Where is that freedom? So it translates into a language which people admit, understand, and relate to immediately, and then they give time. So NREGA has been, in one sense, again that logic of seeing that people are less hungry. During the meltdown, when the whole world was reeling, our rural markets were thriving because people in the villages were earning money and they were spending it in the local market. So the local market registered higher sales of motorcycles and refrigerators than ever before because the shopkeepers, because they were thriving, were buying luxury items and we were buying food from them. I think there is a bias. If you remove the bias, then it is something that has really benefited the country. And Stiglitz, Joseph Stiglitz, who got the Nobel for economics, came here and said that NREGA is one of the best programs, not only for alleviating poverty, but for developing democracy. So
Fantastic.
It was a good thing that we did, all of us together, yes.
What are some of the struggles that you have gone through personally in your battle? I mean, again, are you focusing on the war, the bigger war, or is it little battles that lead up to it? I want a glimpse into your own inner world. What have been the conflicting challenges that you have been dealing with, and maybe demons that are still there with you?
I think they last for life, but anyway. The personal is political begins with my identity as a woman. Begins with my struggle all through life. No matter how much power I got, to assert that my way of thinking has a right to be articulated, understood, and acted upon. I don't know how many women in the audience have felt it, but no matter which seat you occupy, no matter what power structure you're part of, you're always sidelined, subtly sidelined. You're told, no, it's okay, but, And in my case, I have had a very good, equal marriage with a husband who gave me freedom and all of that. But nevertheless, there was always a slight edge. Always a slight edge. And whether my friends, even with my friends in MKSS or my friends wherever I worked, majority of men get together, they have a tendency. And this is the way, and that's one thing I've argued in this book, which is different from my political life, is that our life is intertwined with politics. And so personal is always political for women. It's not just the fact that we have to uncover our heads or that we can find a man of our choice. It's also the use of language, it's the nuances, it's the discretion, and it's very subtle, but it's used against us. And therefore, the assertion is a day-to-day, hour-to-hour occurrence in our lives. And that's what I've been trying to articulate. And as a woman, I'm seen as a very powerful woman. I am a powerful woman, but I'm also powerless at many times, and therefore I wanted to bring notice to that. And this book gave me the space to talk about it. And that's been a very important space for me. And if, as a powerful woman, I have these handicaps, can you imagine what happens to a woman who's not even allowed to speak? It must be tremendously hard. So women's language, women's method of expression, women's songs, you go anywhere. You go to the Barmer and Jaisalmer, where we have the most beautiful singers. Their women are the teachers. They teach the young. But do you think they're ever given the stage? Never. It's the men who sing. And Komal Kothari was a great cultural historian in Rajasthan, struggled so hard to get their women on stage to sing. But all that is tradition prevented them. And only Rukmabai turned up to sing. So that was the thing. And then this discomfort of conscience, I think, is a very separate issue. And I think this is the catch-22 of our lives. We want convenience and comfort at all cost. We know that something is wrong, but if it's going to inconvenience me, then let it be. You know, like a protest on the street is demanding for constitutional rights, which is going to involve you, me, and everybody else. But at the moment, it's preventing me from taking a straight route and I have to take a detour. And I damn that protest. Oof, why is this protest here on the street? You know, oh God, I wish they weren't protesting. We don't realize that they are giving up their time, their energies and everything to sit there to ask for something for you and me and everybody. It's a general demand.